You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or their affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And hello everybody, it's second live radio interview at Sage PARACON 4. Currently Dana and Dana Newkirk, the ones that we had on earlier, they're currently in the midst of their talk at the moment. And there's literally I think the auditorium is full. So that's always a good sign. We're just waiting for our guest to turn up. Claire Barrand, but she's just been caught with a couple of people who just want to have a chat with her, so she'll come down in a second. But as we said, we're going to be on at 2:30. I'm here, so you're going to have to listen to my own dulcet tones. So I just want to, obviously, until Claire turns up, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory of obviously the last couple of days. So obviously, as we were saying in the first show this morning, Thursday night of Sage PARACON, whether it's 1 to 4, has always been the investigation side of it, and obviously we covered that. But then obviously on the Friday night, we have for the last 2 years we've had what we call a medieval banquet. Which at Sage is a special night. It's becoming more and more popular. It's a stage show, but you also get through the medieval period, from when obviously the Church of England was very, very prominent, to when Henry VIII came on and abolished the church, etc., etc. So taking the powers away from the Pope. And basically when you were paying taxes to the church, etc., etc. So there's this stage show that happens, and while the stage show is going on, you basically serve food during that. So you start with, they really do play up to it and say, right, okay, you're going to be now having gruel, and because you're poor, you're a peasant, etc., etc. And the room is sort of displayed like with dust and like patty and sacks all over the place. So the first course we had, which was like a soup. They say it was like the gruel, but obviously it was just vegetable soup. And then obviously the stagecoach continues on. Henry VIII comes into power, so then it's the nobility, and he abolishes the church for his own purposes. So then it turns into like Henry VIII's time. So you then have your next meal, so there's more money around because you're not paying a tax to the church, etc. And but it is literally every single, we have six courses, and each of the courses is sort of like themed to a sort of a period in time. And as we're eating, there's MJ and Duncan were the Baron and Baronets of Coombe Abbey. And it's very, very comical. It's tongue-in-cheek humour. They do songs. They do everything like that. So it's you like having food and all that sort of stuff. So it's really, really funny, and you get to a point where I've got to eat, because you're watching the show, you're having a laugh. And there's audience participation. So one of the words, if you come to Sage PARACON, one of the words you'll hear get shouted around is huzzah. You have to do the arm twist and everything like that. So it is quite good. It is a very, very good evening. And then obviously this morning, we were setting up, getting everything ready, getting the vendors in. Which Sam will be doing a Facebook Live around the vendor area in a little while. So you can buy crystals, you can have readings, you can have your green screen photographs taken with speakers. You can do all sorts of that. So it is very much Sage Tribe participation in everything that happens over. Okay, I've just been told. So I'm afraid Claire is tied up at the moment, sadly. So you're going to have to listen to me for about half an hour. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But we're going to sort it. Spur at the moment. We're going to grab another speaker. So we'll see who can cut with Sam can go and find. So I do apologise. But yeah. So there's in the vendors area, which we posted some pictures earlier. You'll see there's like the guys from Haunted Magazine. You've got spiritual, so you can buy your crystals, your Kerry sort of stuff that I call it. All your spiritualist stuff, so all that sort of stuff. But you can also get your books. Not each of the speakers got a vendor's table. So Karen and Calvin have got. Calvin's got his occult museum. He brought some of the items over, which we'll be talking to Calvin in a little bit more detail. And obviously, both of them are associated with the Talking Board Society. And so you can buy. Karen has brought over a collection of Ouija boards, vintage Ouija boards, etc., etc. So yeah, it's an amazing atmosphere in there. But we are literally in the midst of Kumabi, in the midst of Sage PARACON for, as I said, Greg and Dana are on at the moment, and they're really, really busy. I've never seen a room as packed as it is possible. So we're going to grab another guest. So please bear with us. I do apologise, but these things happen with live radio. But yeah, if there's any questions in the chat room or you want to ask us anything, just post away, let us know. But yeah, once obviously we've got the talks going and all, they finish all the talks. We've then got the party in the evening, which is the VIP, which Sage PARACON has been known for throwing one hell of a bash. So yeah, so we've managed to, we found a waif and stray wandering past. So we thought we'd pull her in. And it's the delicate Karen.
Well, I wouldn't say it's delicate, but they're both lovely.
So Karen, this is obviously your second year as a speaker at Sage. Give us so give us an idea of the atmosphere at Sage event.
Oh my gosh. Well, it feels like a reunion, number one.
Mm.
And although I was new last year and didn't know anybody, didn't even know MJ and Duncan or you,
Mm-hmm.
or you, Sam. It's so inviting. But what's even more cool than that is the vibe here. It's very pro Ouija, which of course I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's very pro exploration, investigation, discovery, exploration, that kind of thing with the paranormal. And people are open to the different tools, which includes the Ouija, which is important to me.
Yeah.
But there's always new people coming in, and the atmosphere is friendly. It's very much like you're one of us.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of cool together. Yeah, it's a wonderful time. I have the best time here. It's probably my favorite. I do go to a lot of events, and I like a lot of events, but this is one of my favorites. You know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What happens here is like Vegas. It stays here.
Yeah.
I don't bring this back to the United States.
I think that's what you've hit the nail on the head. I think every single speaker that we've had from America to come over has gone, I've had such a good time.
They go cuckoo too when they come. We all go cuckoo, don't we?
Yeah. I think that might be a lack of sleep.
It's being jet lag. It's very true. Then you just kind of, woo, you know what it's like when you go to Vegas.
Absolutely. You have that period of time where you haven't got a clue what time of day it is, whether it's morning, evening. Your body clock is all over the shop. So,
mine is, for sure.
But I know myself and all members of Sage Tribe and MJ, we're just so thankful for you guys coming over to come do this. So, you in the vendors area, you've got obviously your collection of Ouija boards.
Yes.
All over. And there's like 13 in there?
I think it's 13, but I have, so there's like 15 of them we actually have, I think, on the table.
Yeah. What are the histories about some of those?
Well, a lot of those are just talking boards.
Yeah.
There's only two that are on the table that are actually Ouija board, because Ouija is the brand name, but talking boards is like the umbrella name.
Yep.
And then you have spirit boards are like talking boards, and then Ouija boards are a single board of itself.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of talking boards there. Most of those are from the 40s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. That most of those boards are from. So is there a modern day one up there? The most modern one up there is probably my board that's 1972 circa. That's probably the most modern one.
And you were saying on the investigation you bought the same year.
That's the one I brought.
Yeah.
Which is
at Christmas.
Yes, that was the lookalike one, the one I actually got from Christmas in 1973. So it's a 72 circa. They didn't change the style, but I got mine in 73. This one is a 72 circa. It could have been bought in 80, but it still is that same style. It came out in 72. Mm-hmm. So they last for so long, and they change the styles again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So the cool thing about talking boards, well, and Ouija boards too, is that they change. Okay, especially if you look at a Ouija board, what you'll find is there's subtle nuances that change in the boards over the years. And so if you're a collector, like, which is what I am, you start looking at it and you go, oh, when did that round moon in the left corner become a sun? Because everything, it was always the sun. No, that full circle on the left side, which is now a sun, was a full moon, had no face on it. Then in the 40s, the face started appearing. Then the moon got its face. And it just kept, things like that change.
So it just evolves with time?
Yes, evolves with time.
Is it evolving for the time period? As in, what is the culture of that time?
I think so.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I think it's a good point you brought up. Ouija is a reflection, and talking boards are definitely a reflection, and so is Ouija, of the times, but especially talking boards. Because you'll see that the period like the 40s, they wanted to do this, well, even 20s too, so let's say 20s, 30s, and 40s. They wanted to bring forth boards that were like mysterious and like exotic. So you had Egyptian themes, you had Middle Eastern themes, you had Alibaba themes, from India. You had all these different themes that kind of, because people back then were like, what's it like across the seas?
Yeah.
It's a big mysterious place to be. So you see those kind of themes emerge. So you can kind of track it.
Yeah, that's really,
it's really interesting.
Yeah. You're obviously doing, on the investigation side, you were working with Calvin, which we'll have on the radio, I think, tomorrow. So we'll be talking to him. But one of the things which you both were working with, which I found fascinating, is, as usual, I'm in that room and I do my patrol round, is that you were doing an experiment. You were like, because obviously Calvin has his point of view,
right,
and you have your point of view. You both respect each other's point of view, and you work very, very well together.
Thank you.
And it's the whole interaction of how to explain how the board works, and both sides of the coin.
Yep. And I guess an analogy I use is like we're the same coin, but different sides of it. He's tails, I'm heads. It doesn't really matter. I like tails too. So he's more scientific and skeptical about the whole process of even anything about paranormal. Where I am definitely a practitioner of using the Ouija board, and I'm definitely into the spiritual and paranormal, and I had too many experiences not to be. So it's fascinating. So one of the experiments we did, which was really fun, we did the number thing where Calvin wrote down 3 digits, and he put it underneath the board. He wrote it down so nobody would see it, meaning the people that used the board wouldn't see it. Put it under the board, and we wanted to see if people could get that. And maybe it's like you're doing telepathy, you're reading somebody's mind kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. There was maybe 2 times nobody got anything, but at least, let's say 8 times out of 10, everybody got at least a digit, if not 2 digits. One time somebody got all 3 digits. You remember that?
Yeah. It was literally, obviously, when you first session, you were doing it, and you weren't getting anything. Then all of a sudden, there was probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours of different groups, and they were particularly one table and one particular board.
It was that table.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking. And I sat down too, and I was getting it as well.
And it was just literally, it was going, you got 1 number. Then it went to 2 numbers.
Yep, and then we had 3.
And then you had 3.
Jackpot.
Yeah. There were obviously three numbers. So obviously, and I was witness. Nobody saw the numbers going under. It was literally placed under the Ouija board, and it was only when they got the 3 numbers through the board, or talking board, and they then put it out, and then they checked it. So that's a very interesting experiment.
It really was, because I think we did it before last year. We had one of the partners put it on the board. We didn't do it that way. We wanted to have it outside somebody that wasn't using the board. So whether Kelvin's projecting that into their minds, there's some mind reading, or maybe there's some spirits communicating. I mean, you can look at this from all different angles, right? And that's kind of what we were doing last night, trying to help people to see it from all the different ways that maybe possibly a board could work. Yeah. But we do all agree the board does work. Something's happening. Something's happening.
Yeah, and obviously we had that planchette with the pencil.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was from 18...
I think it's 1880, if I'm correct. But it started in the 1850s, and it's called an automatic writer or a planchette. This one was an automatic writer because it had an aperture for a pencil. You put it in there, and your hand goes on it like a planchette, and it writes. And so Liz did a great job. She was getting words and all kinds of fun stuff.
We had some amazing results with that, and it was because, as I said, I was actually in the room just making sure, and then I'd go off and patrol and then move the groups around. So I was witnessing all this stuff that was happening from an outsider's point of view.
Yeah.
And fascinated by some of the results you guys were getting, because the way you guys explain, particularly yourself, when you explain how to use the board, and then you also were taking away some of the worries, concerns people have with the board. And and like I said, when we interviewed you a little while ago, about you can make your own boards and planchettes and everything like that with like discs and stuff like that.
Yeah, you saw us using the disc.
Yeah.
Did you see that little cardboard one? Nobody used it, but that one works great.
Yeah.
So it was this piece of cardboard where I just wrote I wrote the letters in random spaces on the board. It was like no arch like it normally has, not even in order. And that one works perfectly fine. Yeah, it's the intention really is what it is. It's not so much what your board looks like. Although, if you have a board you really resonate with, that helps, because then you want it to work. It's your intentions. But the automatic writer, you guys, if you don't know much about that, it works very much the same way. So, but when you have your hand on this planchette to move around and write, it's the idea that you've got to have the intentions that you want it to work. Now, for me, that doesn't work as well as the Ouija board. But I could put a pen in my hand, it works better. And the idea is, again, the spirits or the ideomotor or one of those things moves it. Yeah.
I'm always fascinated. That's 2 years on the spin now that I've
you watched this. What did you think?
And the things, like we said on the radio show a little while ago, when we did a show, similar thing happened. Somebody sat down, got information. They thought it didn't mean anything to them. They put it on the table. Somebody then sat down, and you weren't given any seat numbers, or you weren't told to sit down. Just happened to sit down, pick this bit of paper during a break.
That was just left there, right?
Yeah.
From the session before.
Read it, and it was about the...
Did you hear when she came up to me that during this...
Yeah, she was in the first group.
And she said, do you remember that? She even said it herself. She goes, remember that time last year I sat down and there was that message for me? We're like, yeah. We were just talking about you the other day.
It was amazing.
It was very amazing. So the board can do that. It can transcend time and space in a way, which is what we're talking about here. And also when I use the board, spirit's non-local. So I don't have to be in the space when I use the board. I could be talking to the ghost of Coon Abbey in Southern California and be sunny and warm and not cold and misty like last night.
You wouldn't be with us.
And I wouldn't have gotten sick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Karen, that...
God, the cold weather got to me, you guys. Got to me a little bit. I wasn't used to it. But it's beautiful here. I love the grounds here. I love this building. I'm so thrilled to be here again. But yes, it was a little misty, a little cold, and it got me a little sick.
No, we just had Trish in the chat room.
Oh, wonderful.
Who basically asked a question and said, are there any suggestions you can give for newbies using a talking board?
Absolutely. There's a lot of suggestions I can give. But, okay, so I'll be basic. The best thing to do is to check your fears at the door and to look at what is the reason. This is what I always say. Answer the question, why do you want to use a talking board? What's your reason to use one? Get real clear on that. And look at if it's to scare yourself, you're going to get that. If it's to help yourself, like I use it for personal evolution. I use it for personal growth. I use it to help people have closure from grief. If you go, well, I just want to talk to my deceased grandmother, great. That's your goal. Make that session about that goal and go at it for that place. And if you ever get anything that you don't like that comes to the board, that happens in the beginning. You might attract lower energies, or you might just be attracting that to you. You want to stop the session and start over again. Focus on your intention and what you want. So if you want to speak to your spirit guide, for example, which tell you what, the board's great for talking to spirit guides. Focus on that and keep on that. It's like when you're learning something new, You don't go, okay, I'm going to learn to play golf. You don't go play badminton and then go play bowling. You play golf. You practice doing it. And so that's what this requires. It requires a lot of patience, practice, and perseverance. I call it the 3 Ps.
Yeah.
It really requires a lot. But start there. Have your attention focused. Know why you want to use it, and then go for it. But be very patient. It takes time.
Exactly, yeah. It's like anything you take up, like you say, practice, and it's not either not going to work, or you're going to feel like it's not
right.
You're not connecting with it, and just persevere with it.
And yeah, and that's a good point. Now, so last night there's people that sat down and just got gibberish. You saw that.
Yep.
And but guess what? The planchette was moving. That's most the battle to get the planchette moving. I know people that sit there and can't get it moving at all. But once you get it moving, it does gibberish. You might do that for several sessions. If it's typical, could do it for more than several sessions. But eventually you'll start to get coherent words. You just got to be patient through all this. And then you start to get sentences. And then you start to get paragraphs. And then like me, I get pages and pages. But another thing to think about is don't ask yes and no questions. Because that takes away the idea of a talking board. It's for talking, not for saying yes, no. So refrain from saying yes, no. Ask questions that are open-ended. Not like, are you a boy? Yes. Are you a girl? No. It's ask questions like, so tell me about your life when you were here. If you're trying to contact the spirit world. Or you might say, I'd like to speak to my guide. What message does my guide have for me? See, there's no yes, no there. They have to spell it out. So these are some just basic things to try.
I hope that helped, Trish. And if you have any more questions, and if that is helpful, just let us know. Pop your comment in the chat room, and we'll pass it over to Karen. Your talk.
Yes.
Which is going to be later on today.
Yeah, I think a couple hours, actually.
Yeah. We'll get you all set up in a little while. You're going to be dispelling some of the myths.
Yes, I'm talking all about the superstitions behind the board, which we call the Ouija-stitions. Yes. I want to talk about the folklore behind the board. Where did it start? Why do we have it? I'm going to talk about some wacky, wild stories about using the Ouija that is true, that happened, ended up in court. I mean, there's all kinds of history here to the Ouija board. I'm going to cover some of that more on the wild side of it. And then talk about where these Ouija-stitions originated, and give you some good examples, and talk a little bit about Hollywood, that Hollywood has a part to do with it. But there's more to it than that. But it'll be exciting talk. Last year I talked more about my own odyssey of using the board at that point for 40 years. My first book, so actually it was 45 years I've been using it. Now it's 46 years. But this one is a little different. I wanted to get more into, because people write me all the time and say, you must say goodbye. You got to burn a board if you get a bad spirit. All of these things I hear, and I'm going to talk about where those came from and how to work with those, or how to work around them.
I must admit, the people that are here today are just wandering around the room and around the vendors area. They're just talking about, listening to this. I can't wait for Karen, because I want to know about that.
Yeah,
and it's such an amazing buzz. Even when people in break times, they come for a quick drink or they get some food, they're talking about what they've either just had or what they're looking forward to.
Yeah.
And I think that
there's a great lineup of conversations and talks we got going on here, and it's very diverse.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it too.
I think it's because the way it is, because it's not just somebody saying, "Oh, this is me."
Right.
It's actually teaching people,
yes,
and giving information that they can then go out
and do it themselves.
And do it themselves.
Yeah.
And every single speaker is doing that today.
And there's historical facts that come into it and where it came from and all that. So that's what's fascinating about this. That's what I like about Sage. I think because there's themes, I think it gears it towards that. Yeah. And our theme was voodoo this year.
Exactly, yeah, voodoo, and obviously
that's why I got into superstition.
And obviously we have the party in the bio party tonight.
That's right. Oh
Will you be dressing up?
Of course. Hello, the Pope Catholic. Hello. So our Ouija board's haunted. Oh no, they're not. Just kidding. Well, you guys are dressing up, of course.
Yeah.
No, because this is the best part about it. We get to be a kid again.
Yeah.
We have so much fun. I can't wait.
And obviously we've got Bloody Mary here.
Oh, we do. The Voodoo Queen herself.
Yeah, who was
of the Bayou.
Yeah, who was dressed like the witch out of
Snow White.
Snow White with an apple.
I saw pictures of that.
I thought
she was part of the staff.
I thought she was part of the staff.
She really played the part, right? Hunched over and everything.
Wouldn't talk.
Yep.
She's with an apple. walking up to get, and it just freaked me out initially because I'm like,
It kind of freaked me out when I saw
Greg dropped me out. It's like, is that funny, man?
it was only when she sat down to pick the phone out, I recognised the phone.
Oh!
I recognise the fire ring.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great. Yeah, especially tonight when everybody's costumes on, you may not recognize everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's fun.
Yeah. Right, I know you're busy.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. Well, bye, you guys.
Well,
and thanks for being in the chat room.
That's fine.
Listening.
And yeah, Trish, I hope that helps. And she just posted 3 hearts and thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
But we'll probably grab you again at some
Sounds
point.
good. Cheerio. That's the English way of saying goodbye, right?
So,
You're welcome.
no problem. So yes, that was obviously the amazing Karen, A. Dolman. Yeah, like I said, Sage. I look forward to coming to Sage. Obviously, I'm not just on the radio. I'm obviously part of the team behind the scenes, making sure it runs smoothly for MJ, so she can concentrate on the more important things. My partner in crime over, he sat a little away from me, Duncan, and obviously the rest of the other guys, Elizabeth's mum, Sam, obviously is helping out as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying these snippets of what is going on at Sage PARACON. Please, if you have a question or you want to know something, drop us a message on social media or come onto the chat room. Like today, the chat room is great because we can actually see the questions. We can ask the guests for the questions there and then. I'm going to wrap it up now because it's going to get very, very noisy in here in about 30 seconds because Greg and Dana have just finished their talk. So please join us again in a little while. We'll be back on with another amazing guest. I'm going to say we'll have a speaker because of obviously the nature of conventions. Some speakers get tied up because they're obviously working as well. So I do apologise that we didn't have Claire. We will be getting Claire on at some point in the weekend. It's just obviously things happen and we have to. But luckily, we've got such an amazing speakers that we can just pull one of them away, another one away. So, thanks again. We will be back on in a little while. Keep an eye out on those social medias. Send us messages, tweets. Even if you've got pigeons, tie a little note on their leg and send them the Kumabbi. We'll get them. We will basically want to do. We want this interaction. We want you guys that sadly can't be here with us to experience what's going on and listen to these amazing speakers that MJ has put together, the themes, some of the behind the scenes. And you never know, we're going to get a few exclusives as well across the weekend. So thanks again. I'm going to end this now. You've been listening to PSH Radio's coverage of Sage PARACON 4 on Para Voice Network. Thank you very much. And we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on ParaSearch Radio.